Sonny and Cher brought a lot of love, laughter, and light to people during the 1960s and 70s. But fans would also anguish over Sonny and Cher as their public life included the birth of a child, a TV show, and a tumultuous, messy divorce. This is the tragic, real-life story of Sonny and Cher. Salvatore, Sonny Bono, had already been working in the music industry for a few years when he met Sherilyn Cher LaPierre in 1962. She was just 16, while he was 27 and married. When Cher's roommates kicked her out of their apartment, though, Bono, who had separated from his wife, offered her a place to stay in return for housekeeping duties. The situation was ideal for Cher. As a child, her father had abandoned the family, and according to Bono, Cher, quote, really wanted to be protected. Cher also wanted to be an actor. But Bono introduced her to record producer Phil Spector, who asked her to sing backup on a few songs. Her vocal talent immediately came through. She ended up singing backup for bands including the Crystals and the Ronettes, and she also recorded a solo recording titled Ringo, I Love You. As Cher's singing career slowly blossomed, so did her relationship with Sonny. Their first song together, Baby Don't Go, was a minor regional hit. It brought them to the attention of the bigger studios, though, and in 1965 they released the hit single I Got You Babe, which launched them to international superstardom. As Sonny and Cher soared to stardom with an appearance on the British show Top of the Pops, it was soon clear that their relationship needed work. Though they were supposedly married in 1964, it turned out that wasn't an official marriage. They wouldn't be legally married until years after the birth of their child. More importantly, Sonny repeatedly stepped out with other women. It was only after several years of infidelity that Sonny finally promised to stop seeing other women. But while their personal lives were anything but storybook, professionally they continued to thrive. In 1968, they moved to Las Vegas and began working as a nightclub act. Not surprisingly, the show included singing with good-natured bickering between songs. The act which, after being honed live in Vegas, would later propel the couple to television fame. Part of Sonny's pledge to be faithful was because, in 1968, Cher became pregnant. In March of 1969, they welcomed a new addition to the family, son Chaz Bono. Soon after Chaz was born, Sonny and Cher legally married at last. For Chaz, life as a celebrity child could not have been easy. What with flamboyant parents constantly busy and on the road, there was little room for any real family time, especially once Sonny and Cher landed their own hit TV series. Beginning in 1971, Sonny and Cher starred in their own variety series, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour on CBS. For 60 minutes each week, folks were entertained in their very own living rooms as the new show featured song, dance, and sketches packed with plenty of talent. The show was initially meant as a summer replacement series that was supposed to run just until the fall lineup began. But Sonny and Cher, replicating their Las Vegas act with good-humored jabs and music, were such a hit that CBS decided to include the show during the winter months starting in December. For about 3 glorious years, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour hosted stars like Michael Jackson, Farrah Fawcett, Burt Reynolds, and a host of others. Their skits were fresh, funny, and campy, and it didn't hurt that a young Steve Martin wrote some of the material. The skits were interspersed with Cher singing hits of the day like her own Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. Sometimes Sonny sang along, and the show always ended with the couple singing, I Got You Babe. But did they really have each other? In 1972, at the height of their fame and fortune, Sonny and Cher's personal lives began to fall apart. Though they continued to present themselves on the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour as happily married, behind the scenes they actually both began seeing other people. Though Sonny kept tight control of many aspects of Cher's life, he knew it couldn't last forever, which was one of the reasons he kept such tight control. Cher told Vanity Fair in 2010 that Bono once predicted, "One day you are going to leave me. You are going to go on and do great things." He was right. And in 1974, Cher finally filed for divorce on the grounds of, quote, involuntary servitude. She had discovered that Sonny owned 95% of Cher Enterprises and that his attorney held the other 5%. The divorce got contentious. she accused him of withholding her earnings, he went after custody of Chaz. In the end, both of them settled. And just days after the divorce was final in 1975, Cher married Gregg Allman, the frontman of the Allman Brothers Band. Cher's relationship with Gregg Allman began shortly after she met him backstage during one of the shows. Allman later wrote, "She smelled like I would imagine a mermaid would smell. I've never smelled it since, and I'll never forget it." Cher was actually living with record mogul David Geffen at the time, whom Allman also met. Unabashed by her boyfriend, Cher gave Allman her phone number. What followed was an amazingly bad first date, which ended after the musician passed out from shooting heroin. Still, they ended up getting married and lived in wedded bliss for 9 days. Then, Cher filed for divorce. They reconciled, but it didn't go well. He was a rocker, she was a pop star. He was into liquor and drugs, she was clean, and most importantly for Allman, she was trying to revive her variety show with her ex-husband Sonny. This was more than Allman could handle, so this time, he filed for divorce. Life had one more curveball for the couple though, a baby. When Allman learned Cher was pregnant, they reconciled again, and Elijah Blue Allman was born in 1976. It wasn't enough to save the marriage though, and they finally divorced for real. Cher began performing an ode to the relationship, My Song, in her concerts, sometimes showing footage of little Elijah that was actually shot by Sonny Bono. Fearful that Allman's drug use would affect her son, Cher sent Elijah to boarding school when he was 8 years old. According to the Australian magazine Who, Elijah felt abandoned, and though he later became a talented musician in his own right, his relationship with his mother was always strained. In 2013, for instance, he eloped without Cher's knowledge, saying, "I wasn't going to wait for anyone's approval and congratulations, just like I've never waited for any of that my whole life." Still, despite their personal struggles, Elijah admires his mother on a professional level, telling Fabiosa, "You know, she's really talented. She's gorgeous. I mean, she's Cher. What's not to love?" 2 marriages, 2 divorces, 2 children, a slew of relationships, and a megastar career. It's enough to exhaust anybody, but not Cher. After her divorce from Allman, Cher took another shot at television with the revived The Sonny and Cher Show with, well, Sonny. But that didn't work out either. So she returned to making music. But fate had something else in store. In 1982, Robert Altman cast her for the stage play Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean, which he eventually turned into a film. Cher, who had originally gone to Hollywood to become an actress in the first place, impressed critics. And she also impressed famed movie director Mike Nichols, who cast Cher in the film Silkwood opposite Meryl Streep. It turned out that Cher, pop performer extraordinaire, had a real talent for acting. Her role in Silkwood netted her a Best Supporting Actress nomination at the 1984 Oscars. More roles followed. She was the distraught biker mom in Mask in 1985. She really picked up the pace in 1987, appearing in 3 films, The Witches of Eastwick, Suspect, and Moonstruck. Cher's hard work paid off, and she won the Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role in 1988 for Moonstruck. A whole new career had opened up for the multi-talented Cher. While Cher was flying high, though, Sonny Bono was struggling. It was no secret that Sonny had his own career bumps over the years. In 1991, he told People, "I enjoyed the power of Sonny and Cher so much. That took years and years to let go." Part of the issue was that Cher had remained famous while Sonny was relegated to guest roles on shows like The Love Boat, while also struggling with his personal life. But still, he remained friends with Cher. Their last appearance together was a rendition of I Got You Babe on Late Night with David Letterman in 1987. A year later, while Cher was in the midst of her run as a new A-list Hollywood actress, Bono got his own second act when he was elected mayor of Palm Springs, California. He spent 4 years as mayor, and in 1995 he used his new political connections to get elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. Tragically, though, his new career was cut short just 3 years later. While skiing with his family on vacation in South Lake Tahoe, Sonny hit a tree and was killed. Cher was naturally devastated and gave an emotionally poignant, touching, and funny tribute at his funeral. In a 1999 interview later published by Blank on Blank, she said she struggled with the loss. I don't think of him in the past tense, like if I'm talking about him. I feel somehow closer to him now than I've felt in a really long time. And so he has more relevance to me now than he has in quite a long time. In 2018, Cher had a unique opportunity to tell her story with The Cher Show, a Broadway musical which opened at New York's Neil Simon Theater. As the show's website explained, quote, "Superstars come and go. Cher is forever." The show, however, didn't quite have the same longevity. Though it featured a number of Cher's hit songs and covered in detail her strange and tumultuous relationship with Sonny, and despite winning 2 Tony Awards, The Cher Show ended up closing in August 2019 after 296 performances. Cher told the Today Show that opening up about her relationship with Sonny was tough.
There are parts that were really painful, like when Sonny is dead and he comes to talk to me. I'm sobbing every time.
Still, even though the show didn't paint a very flattering picture of Bono, Cher thought her ex-husband would still have liked it.
He'd be pissed off a little bit, but he knows it's true, so he'd be okay.
The short-lived life of the Cher Show came just after Cher suffered another blow to her heart. In 2017, Greg Allman died from liver cancer. Cher paid tribute to her one-time husband, saying, quote, "Words are impossible." According to Amo Mama, Allman's passing moved Cher to try and repair her relationship with their son Elijah. And though Cher is now in her 70s, the beat continues to go on. In 2018, Cher appeared on the big screen in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and produced an album of cover songs paying tribute to the Swedish supergroup ABBA. And she also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Kennedy Center. For Cher, it's been a long life and career full of low points and struggles, but she continues to do what she has always done: rise above.